Warning, this is strictly my opinion and my opinion only. Please don't get your panties in a bunch. Please enjoy the review.
This video contains strong language, used in a funny context. Viewer discretion advised.
Hello Internet, your friendly neighborhood gaming machine here, and today I'm here to talk about a game that I don't like. But first things first, before I get into that, a nice little monologue for you. Me being old school, as you can tell from my shirt back in the day, I grew up with a franchise that to me started getting better as I started playing them. And it was created by Capcom. Resident Evil. I love Resident Evil. From Resident Evil 1, the director's cut, for the PlayStation, and it also came out for the Sega Saturn, which I actually like that one over its PlayStation counterpart. I also love Resident Evil Remake that came out for the GameCube and later on for other consoles as well. Resident Evil 2, I love it. It's considered my favorite Resident Evil game. I love it to death. Resident Evil 3, Nemesis, which was also my second favorite game of all time in the series. To even Code Veronica, which is considered my third favorite in the series. Just because it just changed the world of Resident Evil as I saw it. Now keep in mind, this video is strictly my opinion only. People probably have other opinions, and I'd love to hear them down below. As long as you stick to one specific thing. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion. Everyone is, I repeat, is entitled to their own opinion. But then, Resident Evil started to go a little bit downhill. Now, I'm not going to be talking about Resident Evil Revelations 1 and 2 because I love those games to death. Resident Evil Survivor was okay. Resident Evil Dead Aim was terrible. Resident Evil Gaiden was terrible. But things, to me, started to go downhill when it was Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil 4 had so much hype. And it even changed after its so-called, what's the word I'm looking for, release that it was supposed to have. It was supposed to be a completely different game. But if it wasn't for Capcom canceling what they had for Resident Evil 4 in the beginning, we wouldn't have had Devil May Cry. Because we had found out that Leon was supposed to have extraordinary power or something of that nature in Resident Evil 4, and Resident Evil was going to have more of a paranormal type of feel to it, which I thought that was interesting going to be as well. But it was after Resident Evil 4 that it started to get bad. And shout out to a specific cat with a sniper. I love watching her play this game, but I will never play this game again after I've beaten it, actually. Sadly, people, if you've seen my last review, you kind of had a feeling I was going to talk about this. I was going to talk about Resident Evil 5. This is my 360 copy. As you can see, this is the exact disc. Resident Evil 5 and all of its crisp and glory. But why do I not like Resident Evil 5? A lot of people like Resident Evil 5. A lot of them. But this is going to be an unedited video. Which means you're going to hear me say ums and uhs and ands and howevers probably. Because I want to get this out there. But Resident Evil 4. It was in a way Capcom's way of, in my opinion, experimenting. Because everybody knows what Resident Evil's known for. We're going to get into that in a little while. I got something special for that. Resident Evil 4 has Leon in it. I own that game too. I even have it on my 360 downloaded in case I ever wanted to play it again, which I haven't wanted to play it for a good long while. But you play as Leon. You're sent to go find the president's daughter A yappy blonde bitch that doesn't know how to take care of herself. Oh, Leon, what have you gotten yourself into, man? But it was a good way of experimenting. I mean, the first beginning parts of the game, it was alright. You know, they had the granados. We had different enemies in there. We even had what people call the big cheese. Big cheese is this big, tall fucker with a trench coat and long beard. People know who the big cheese is. I assure you, you know who the big cheese is. Oh, yeah. But, when there was talk of a Resident Evil 5 that was going to come out, and it was going to star Chris Redfield, I was thinking to myself, wow, this is going to be amazing. Because Chris Redfield, to me, is one of the only main characters to have had the most character development in the Resident Evil franchise. Aside from Albert Wesker. And I love Albert Wesker. He's one of my top 5 favorite villains of all time. Sunglasses at night. But, when there was talk of a Resident Evil 5, I had a Resident Evil sized erection. And I said, that's so funny. I had a Resident Evil sized erection. It sounds so perverted. Damn, I'm crazy. But yeah, I was so excited for it. I was. Because I was like, oh my god, we're going to be getting back Chris. And from this particular time frame, this was right around the time where the last time you saw Chris was in Code Veronica. I was like, damn. And I saw the character concept designs, and Chris was all bulky and beefcaked and Chris nips. That's an ongoing joke with a certain streamer I know. Oh hell, the Chris nips. But I was so excited for it. But then I went to a friend's house, played this game, and the way things would go with me and my friend was that he would play it first, I would watch, and then when he was done with the game, I would complete the game, see how I felt about it, and then for a final thought process, we would do co-op together and play the game like that. That's how we always played our, FPSs back in the day. In case you don't know what an FPS stands for, FPS stands for first person shooter. You should already know that if you're a gamer. But I played this game right after watching my friend play it. I couldn't stand it. And in this review, there's not going to be any gameplay of it, because you already saw some gameplay of it from my friend Zach Danger for my review countdown that I did before this video was ever to be seen. But in this review, I'm going to talk about top 3 things I cannot stand about Resident Evil 5. But as honorable mentions, I'm going to talk about, first, pros of Resident Evil 5. Pro number 1. Okay? Pro number 1. Starred Chris Redfield. I like Chris Redfield. He's considered one of my favorite characters in the franchise, aside from, of course, Albert Wesker. When I heard that Chris was going to be in the game, I was ecstatic. I was very excited that I was going to be playing another game with Chris Redfield. Oh my god. Second thing I liked about Resident Evil 5 was that it had Albert Wesker in it. And I love Albert Wesker. I thought that was cool. It's like, oh shit, I get to fight Wesker again. Bring it, man. And then I'd say the third thing, it was small, but third thing I liked about Resident Evil 5 was that it took place in Africa. Now, keep in mind, Resident Evil 1, this is before Resident Evil 0 was created and stuff. Resident Evil 1 happened in a Spencer mansion. Resident Evil 2 happened in, Raccoon City. Resident Evil 3 also happened in Raccoon City. And Code Veronica happened on an island. And if we were to put the side games in here, Revelations 1 happened on a boat. Revelations 2 technically happened on an island as well. And Resident Evil 4 technically happened in Spain, or around Spain. So it was only fair that they were going to one day go into Africa. We were going to have to fight Africans that were, infected with some kind of virus. I like that idea. Even though I heard that Capcom got in trouble for it, almost got sued or something for it. I don't know. But what are the 3 main reasons why I don't like Resident Evil 5? Well, main reason number 1 is a very long monologued one. Even though I've been monologuing this whole time, but if you're still here, I salute you. But reason number 1, why do I not like Resident Evil 5? Well, the Resident Evil franchise was known for a main spawn of certain enemies. Yes, we had side enemies like lickers and hunters. They sound like sexual predators sometimes if you think about it. We had tyrants, predators. We had crows, also known as, to me, the minions of Fetty Wap Squaw. I'm never going to do that again. And we just had other interesting enemies in the Resident Evil franchise. But what's that one enemy that is literally known in every single Resident Evil game you would think of in the past? Zombies. I said it. Zombies. I love shooting me some zombies, man. Screw what happened with Black Ops, whatever number it is, and they brought in Black Ops Zombies. If I'm not going to play no fucking zombie game in a Black Ops game, if I want to play a zombie game, I'm going to play some Resident Evil. Fuck you. That's why I said fuck you to Call of Duty and all of that. Because ever since they brought in even then, I just don't like Call of Duty like that anymore. I did like the first one, second one, and third one. Like the original 3 were okay to me. But I'm just not into war games. And even when I saw other people play the new games, I thought they sucked so bad. Sucked worse than a vacuum cleaner. I'm like, come on, man. Is this what you're spilling out of your ass these days? Like, come on. But Resident Evil is known for zombies. Resident Evil 0 had zombies. Resident Evil 1 and its remake had zombies. Resident Evil 2 had zombies. Resident Evil 3 had zombies. Code Veronica had zombies. Survivor had zombies. As much as it sucked, Dead Aim had zombies. Even the considered to me to be the worst Resident Evil game ever created, Resident Evil Guided, had zombies. Had zombies. But then of course, there's the ones that you would kind of argue about. Revelations 1 and 2. I could technically say that some of the regular enemies would be kind of like an upgraded version of the zombie. Because they were dead, they were reanimated, it came back to life, and they had a human shape. The zombies. Resident Evil Revelations 2. Same situation. A different alternative to a zombie. But what makes a zombie? I'll tell you what makes a zombie. You were to die, and you were to come back to life. And you were to want what? To attack people or come and eat their brains. Because you're a freaking zombie. That's your basic functions. Amen to that. Amen to the zombies. Ooh, zombies. But why is it, now I know the people watching are going to be wondering this though. But Onyx, why do you hate Resident Evil 5 more than Resident Evil 4? Okay, let me explain something here. Resident Evil 4 to me was like an experiment that Capcom was doing. This is my opinion, however, though. This was like a way of Capcom experimenting with an idea they had. You know, it's like, we're gonna put a different enemy in there and see how people like it. Now, I will say Resident Evil 4, the beginning and some of the middle of the game was okay. It was fine. It was endurable, except for Ashley. But all in all, after a certain part in the game, it became an action game. It became a game that made me think of James Bond for some odd fucking reason. Leon is not James Bond. He may be a secret agent, but he's not James Bond. Don't put him in a fucking battleground and have him have nothing to really protect himself with except for a creepy stalker merchant that opens his robes and is like, "What'll it be, stranger?" Are you fucking serious? What'll it be, stranger? I'm sorry. I had a breakdown there for a minute, but here's the thing. Capcom's allowed to experiment, and they have before, okay? But if it wasn't for Resident Evil 5, if it wasn't for Resident Evil 4, we wouldn't have Resident Evil 5. But all in all, before I get into that reason, Resident Evil is known for zombies. There was no zombies. Enough said. That was my main reason, number one, why I didn't like this. I still own it because it's a Resident Evil game. And I'm always going to keep it in my collection. And no, I didn't forget about it. Resident Evil 6 also had zombies. Zombies! Anyways. Reason number two. If it wasn't for Resident Evil 4, we wouldn't have Resident Evil 5. Let me explain something to you, okay? Resident Evil 4 had some interesting enemies that I never thought I would ever want to see again in a game. We had chainsaw people in Resident Evil 4. We had people that were technically alive, but they were being controlled, and things came out of their heads when you shot their heads, okay? We had El Gigante, or El Gigante, depending on what certain accent you have. Basically, we had a giant thing that was like a live-action, bloodthirsty Shrek that wanted to kill Leon. Oh, I always wanted to use that joke somewhere, and I finally have. My dreams have been complete. It's been okay, but. Then we had, certain Las Plagas enemies in Resident Evil 4 that was basically just a Las Plagas. It was a bug, yeah. And then you play Resident Evil 5. The Africans that attack you. They act very similar, don't they? Yeah. You want to know why? They act like fucking Granados from Resident Evil 4. So, okay. I was like, okay. Yeah, they're paying tribute to Resident Evil 4. I'll give them leeway for that. I'll give them leeway. Okay? And then, one of your first bosses you fight is a chainsaw guy. Chainsaw guy! Yeah! Anyways, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna give it to them. It's fine. It couldn't get any more worse than this. Then there was a part in the game where you fight El Gigante. An African version of El Gigante. Yeah. You fight an African version of El Gigante. My fucking God, man. Oh, I lost my fucking mind after that, and I was with my friend when I found this shit out. And I put the controller down and I went for a monster. I think I chugged 2 that day after I saw that, and I was like, do I really got to finish this? And my friend was like, but Onyx, you're a Resident Evil guy. You know, you have to finish this. It's your destiny. And he was right. It was my destiny. Because I've played every single Resident Evil game that was created. Every single one. Even a demo that was based off of what Resident Evil 4 was supposed to be. I played that. Now, aside from some that were unreleased and there was nothing of the sort to play this game with, yeah, there's probably some rare exceptions. But I've played all the good and all the bad. I can proudly say that I am a Resident Evil veteran. But when I saw an African El Gigante, I was losing my mind. I was losing it seriously. And I was like, dude, are you serious? It's like I could give them the benefit of the doubt for making the Africans act like, Granados. I could give it to them with that. I could. I really could. And then when one of your first bosses you fight is a guy with a chainsaw, I was really trying not to lose my mind there. But I was like, I'm going to give them leeway for that. You know, because it's just one boss. Then we get El Gigante. Oh my God. It made me lose my mind, basically. And aside from that, there was a main thing I didn't like about Resident Evil 4 that was put into Resident Evil 5. Resident Evil 4, around the middle of the game. Resident Evil 4, keep this in mind. There was a battlefield type of scenario where you had to fight. Literally, it looked like you were in a war. But you weren't in a war. There was a lot of people out to kill you. And it felt like a freaking war game. And you know what? They amped that up a lot in Resident Evil 5. And I felt like vomiting every fucking where. And wanting that Ouroboros to be shoved up Capcom's ass after this shit was happening with me. I was losing my fucking mind. I hadn't raged that bad with a game since Resident Evil Gaiden, when I had to beat that game. And I was kissing the floor, and I took the cartridge that I bought, and I hooked up some firecrackers to the fucker, and I set it on fire, and I blew up Resident Evil Gaiden because I was... I remember that too. I was so pissed off. Oh God. I was so pissed off. But they took the action from Resident Evil 4 and they amped it up a whole lot. There was even times where you would get overwhelmed with fighting certain enemies in Resident Evil 5. And that same overwhelmingness was my PTSD from Resident Evil 4. Oh, God. Okay. Now, keep in mind, I don't mind watching people play it. Okay, I love watching people play the game. I do. I love it. There's technically only a few streamers that I would watch play Resident Evil 5. One of those I'm going to be doing a shout out to in this. Sniper Cat 6. I'm sponsored to you on YouTube. And keep doing what you're doing. You're an amazing person and you're great at games. And I bet you're just having neutral feelings about what I'm talking about right now. Now keep in mind this, I don't mind watching people play Resident Evil 5, but I'm not playing this game again, okay? But I had said there was 3 main reasons, and I only talked about 2. Well, I'm going to tell you what that 3rd reason is. And it kind of had to do with, you know, a little bit of 2 and the 1st reason. But it's a little bit mixed together in a more simplistic type of way. If the game didn't have Chris Redfield and Albert Wesker in the game, and they didn't put Resident Evil 5 on the cover, this would have been a generic shooter. But that's not really what this 3rd reason is about. That's more of a honorable mention or a dishonorable mention of the things I don't like about Resident Evil 5. I think I've teased it long enough. When it comes to Resident Evil 5, this was a game that was close to me wanting to quit playing Resident Evil games of the new generation. That's the 3rd reason why I don't like Resident Evil 5. This game made me want to quit playing games for Capcom, period. I'm not kidding. I grew up with Resident Evil as a child, you know? I did. I grew up with Resident Evil as a child. Zombies, spooters, hunters, lickers, Chris Redfield, Jill Valentine, Claire Redfield, Barry Burton, Rebecca Chambers, Albert Wesker, and all the other people that I didn't mention in this. Especially one specific person that's underrated in the Resident Evil games, and that's Billy Cohen. I salute you, Supermarine Billy. You protected a woman from stars that couldn't do it by herself. But I was so excited for Resident Evil 5. I was. And when I found out that it was worse than Resident Evil 4, I wanted to quit playing Capcom games. I did. It's a sad thing for me to talk about there. But I'd say that my spirits were lifted when I played Revelations 1 and Revelations 2, which I own both of those games. I loved them. I did. They felt like Resident Evil games. Yeah, they still had the third-person view situation. You know, that's fine and dandy. You know, that's fine. Plus, with Resident Evil 7 coming out, we're going to be having a first-person view, so that's going to be cool. But Resident Evil 5, it's not considered the worst Resident Evil game. Oh, no, no, no. That still sticks to Gaiden, and then Dead Aim. But, like I said before, I could watch people play it, but I will never play this game. Not for my channel, and not ever in my spare time. I can't. I won't. I beat the game. I got a lot of the achievements that came with my Xbox 360 version of the game. But I don't always play games for achievements these days. I don't. I play games for the bragging rights. The bragging rights that I played this game, that I beat this game. And when I say that I beat Resident Evil 5, I beat Resident Evil 5. I did. I beat it on normal. I beat it on veteran. And I beat it on professional. Just so people could get it in their mind that this man beat this game. Did I get all the achievements? Nah, I didn't. Because like I said, I don't always really play for achievements. I play for rights of my own. Just like how for Resident Evil 6, I beat it in all of its difficulties, even No Hope. I didn't do it just to brag to others. I did this for myself. Me being a Resident Evil person. You beat the game. When you beat it, you learn something from it. Not just the lore. I love the lore. The whole story of Resident Evil. It intrigues me. But aside from the lore, when you beat a game, you feel good about yourself. Some people are achievement whores, and I understand that. You know, if you want a certain achievement and you can show it to others, that's fine. That's all good. But that's why I play a lot of old school games now. Old school is what I love. It's what I cherish. I've beaten a lot of games in my life. Shown a lot of people. I've even trained people how to beat certain games. I've been called mentor. I've been called a gaming god. Not a gaming god. I'll take mentor. I'll take a gaming machine. And this has got to be one of the most emotional reviews I've ever given. And if you've gotten to the part I'm talking about right now, I salute you even more. Lets me know that you are a true subscriber to me. And I'm going to continue these reviews that I do. I'm going to. Because it's my destiny. It's my job. I do this. Not just for myself. I do this for you. I'm getting close to 1,000 subscribers. When I get to 1,000, I'm going to do something special. I'm not going to tell anybody, though. I'm not going to tell anybody yet. But I have something very special planned. For all the people that take time out of their day to watch what I do. No matter if it's non-commentary or commentary or me being an ass. I love being an ass. That's who I am. That's always who I'm going to be. And there's not going to be any music during this. So don't even bother. This was a review I had to do. And I had to give my full emotion for it. Aside from when I did Where's Waldo. Waldo. But all in all, I do recommend people to play Resident Evil 5 for themselves and make their own verdict for it. This is it for 360. It came out for PS3, also PS4. I recommend people to play it and give their own verdict toward it. I myself do not like Resident Evil 5. It goes so far away from the image that is Resident Evil. And yeah, that's really all I got to say about it. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, everybody. If you enjoyed this episode, click that like button. Leave a comment below. I'd like to know your positive thoughts on Resident Evil 5. Your negative thoughts about Resident Evil 5. And again, thank you for letting me into your homes so you can watch the crazy shit that I make. I do it for everyone here. I do. I love you all. Every single one of you. But as always, this is Onyx Spade, the gaming machine. And I'll see you in the next video.